Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance. Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden, and I'm an accountability coach and author of Get Resultsology, the science of getting stuff done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So, if that sounds like the kind of momentum and the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Dr. Brandy Stamper. Dr. Brandy is a strategic performance coach and university professor who empowers founders and senior executives to succeed by design. She works at the intersection where performance meets purpose, bridging the gap between your innate wiring and your business strategy. Brandy challenges the generic rulebook of success, teaching leaders how to build sustainable momentum. Oh, we like that. She's also the author of Bridge the Purpose Gap. Dr. Brandy, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you so much, Robin. I really appreciate you having me.
I really appreciate you being here. Whereabouts in the world are you?
I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the East Coast of the United States.
Oh, I'm going to be very British here, but I was going to ask you what the weather's like, but that's too British. No, shall we do the questions instead?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, that's probably best. All right, I'll get the clock up on the screen. And there it goes. Brandy, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Absolutely. So I work specifically with founders and senior executives who become bottlenecked in their own success. So, like for the founder, this could look like being stuck in day-to-day operations, unable to scale revenue because every decision has to flow through them. For the senior executive, it's about being stuck in what I call the execution trap. They are paid to be strategic leaders, but they're constantly pulled down into the weeds of their job, firefighting, right, instead of actually leading. And so the idea of the founder and the executives, they're both very successful, but they're physically maxed out and need a new design to help get to that next level.
All right, thank you. That's very clear and concise. We like that. So what exactly then is, you've alluded to it already, obviously, but what exactly is the problem, or I imagine problems, that you solve for them?
Yeah, so if I had to package what that problem would be, I call it the success paradox. It's really that painful disconnection of where you have the accolades and the title. However, you feel exhausted because you're operating against your own wiring. So what happens is most leaders try to fix this by adding more hours, more apps, more grind, that really hustle culture idea. And so I help them strip that away. I use behavioral profiling like human design, as well as the Enneagram to really help build them a personal performance playbook. So it's the idea of replacing that hustle with a structure that actually fits their psychology, so that way they can succeed without the burnout, without the overwhelm, essentially without the hustle.
Yeah, lowering the mental temperature is a phrase that springs to mind. I love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. Okay. So what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to solve this problem at least a little bit for themselves?
Yeah, I love this question. Something that's easy to do is what I call perform a friction audit. So what you would want to do is you want to take 5 minutes today, look at your calendar. And even if you don't have a calendar, maybe write down all the things that you have on your list to try and do today, depending on your personality and what you do. But then I want you to identify one task that consistently drains you. And when we talk about draining, it's basically the feeling like you're trying to push a boulder uphill, right? So when you look at that task, ask yourself, are you doing this task because it drives results, or are you doing it because you feel like you should? right? And so if the term should is in that answer, this is where it's a task that actually drains you and it's going against your wiring or your biology, right? And so if it's a should, you want to delegate it, delete it, or you want to redesign how you do it. Okay. What happens is a lot of leaders or founders, they try to improve that task or just hustle through that task, push through it with willpower. Okay. But sometimes that you are not built for that in the sense of your energy type. So that's where the human design piece comes in. And so if you're pushing against that human design or your energy using your willpower, you're going to burn out, right? You might get the task done, but it doesn't mean it was done productively or effectively, because eventually you're going to become really upset with how you feel or what happens, right? So the idea is success leaves clues, but so does friction. And so paying attention to that friction gives you an idea about what's going on and what you can do to change that.
Yes. I nearly didn't respond then. I was so hooked into listening to what you were saying because it's absolutely fascinating. I was thinking of many examples in my own life where all of that is absolutely true and valid, and I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the tip that you shared is extremely valuable indeed. All right, so now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you do, and I say a little bit, I only give you 3 minutes to get that this far in, so that's not really fair to you. Let's dive briefly into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve business goals, which is probably more of the same, really. But could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits, even though you've already done that kind of? I'm greedy. I always like more.
So I would say probably my best tip is to stop managing your time and start designing your energy. So we are taught to treat every hour as equal, but naturally that's false. You have what I call a unique signature performance style. Some people are designed to sprint and rest. Others are designed for steady, constant output. So if you're trying to force a 5 a.m. routine when you are wired for late night creativity, you are not being productive. You're just fighting a war against yourself. So the idea is you want to figure out when you are naturally most lucid and protect those hours fiercely if you have to, like suit up right for that, for your highest value work.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something I talk about in my book as well, although I don't do it as eloquently or as knowledgeably as you do. But absolutely, you need to understand your own energy patterns and what really works for you. And I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. All right. So finally, I have one more question for you in the time that we have left, Dr. Brandy, which is, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And your answer, please.
I think one question would be, why do most leadership strategies fail in the long run? And the answer is that typically leaders focus entirely on the nurture piece, which is the mindset, the habits, and the skills, and actually ignore the intersection of the nature, which is your innate wiring. So you can't just mindset your way out of a wrong strategy. And so the idea of real sustainable performance happens when you reconcile the two. When you build that life and a career that honors who you actually are and not who the world has told you to be. And that's exactly what I cover in part of my book, Bridge the Purpose Gap, but also in my work with my clients, where you stop fighting your nature so that your business becomes easy.
Brilliant. All right, thank you. And look at that, we've done it with time to spare, which is good because I'm going to I actually have a 3-part question coming up. I normally ask a 2-part question after our 7 minutes is wound up, but the 3-part question would become obvious. I'm going to stop the clock because we have done our 7 minutes, our 5 questions in 7 minutes. So the 3-part question is, parts 1 and 2 are, how can people reach you to obviously connect with you and find out more about what you do? The second part of the question is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you? Because as I often say at this point, it's a bit cheeky, it's a very British phrase, to ask for that, but I'm not being cheeky really, I'm being quite serious. People sometimes they need more exposure to what you do before they're ready to make that quite often brave decision to actually make contact, and they feel more comfortable doing that once they know more about what you do. Which brings me neatly to my 3rd parter, which is, you mentioned your book. Please tell us how we can get your book and tell us a little bit more about that, because I love books and yours sounds fascinating.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So your listeners can reach me at my website, brandystamper.com, and I'm on the socials with LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Coach Brandy Stamper. They can reach me there. In terms of the free resource, right, that I have, and this is probably one of my favorite resources for anybody who comes to my website, because I have, you always create tons of resources, but this is my favorite. So it's called a signature performance style blueprint. It's a personalized 7-page guide actually based on your unique birth details, and it acts as your user manual for business and life. So it reveals your natural operating style, how you best make decisions, and your specific performance trap that actually leads you to burnout. So you can actually generate that free blueprint at my website, brandystamper.com/blueprint. I know it'll be in the show notes and all that, but it's a fabulous resource that's tailored to you, not just the generic, do this and you will make 7 figures or whatever it may be. And so that's what I really love about that. You actually get some some real personalized guidance there. And then the third part of the question, my book, Bridge the Purpose Gap, How to Build a Life and a Career That You Love. You can find that on Amazon. Just type in Bridge the Purpose Gap and you will see it right there. I actually published that January of 2025. So it's been out for right about a year. And the book is really about helping you understand your Enneagram type and your internal motivations, why you do what you do, and how to use that information to help guide you in your career, whether if you're negotiating a promotion or negotiating benefits, whatever that may be, but also in your relationships with your partners, with your family, how to understand who you are, how you perceive the world, and that your perception of the world is vastly different than someone else's. So what might aggravate you when someone does something, you have to understand that might be a trigger. And from that, how do you work through that with others in some way, shape, or form?
Fantastic. Oh, right. Well, I'm on my way to Amazon right now. Oh, no, wait, I have to close the show. Dr. Brandy Stamper, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again for being on Goalbusters. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate, and review it on your favorite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.